Oh my god, where have I been? Hey YouTubers, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on these social media platforms. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, I'm going to try to keep this one a little bit short. This isn't really going to be an explanation video about where I've been. Of course, I've been away over the last couple days. I haven't been posting on this channel. I've been primarily focusing all of my free time on Real Talk. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts, speculations, reviews, and all this other stuff for horror movie television or horror movies in general, just make sure to go follow me over there. I have a whole lot of fun on that channel, and it's been a real blast over the last couple weeks. But why haven't I been talking about Dragon Ball? Well, first off, I feel like there's just not a whole lot to talk about. One of the things I did in my channel, and I'm not really ashamed of this. A lot of people might feel like, oh, you should be ashamed of the way that you handle your content because it's just trash. That's fine. Like, if you want to think that, I mean, like, go ahead. I feel like that's more detrimental for you than for me. But I didn't really ever want to do reviews about Dragon Ball Super on my content. I feel like a lot of people were doing that, and I didn't really know what I could say in the wave of Dragon Ball Super reviews. I didn't really want to do Dragon Ball Super news because other people do that. They do it much better than me, and I've always kind of felt like that was lazier content. Not that the people who do that are actually lazy. They work really hard at what they do, but at the same time, you know, it's not the stuff that I wanted to be focusing on because I felt like there was no real creative value in that. It was just simply having your masses come in and know what's going on with the property that they appreciate and enjoy. I do that with Dragon Ball. I do that with everything that I cover on not only YouTube, but also things that I don't cover on YouTube. I want to know what's going on, so I understand that. My whole focus here was weird, wacky discussion videos. You know, I wanted to feel like I was a kid again on the playground talking about Dragon Ball with my friends on YouTube, and that's the real community that I've tried to build here. My problem here, and I think a lot of people would agree with this, is there's just not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to Dragon Ball right now. Yes, it is a gigantic, massive entertainment franchise that spans video games, manga, television shows, movies, and everything else like that. But in terms of what we can talk about, the progression of the story and all this other stuff, if you don't play games, then there's not really a lot you can talk about when it comes to story, when it comes to the narrative, and when it comes to just the passion and the attention of the audience. I want to continue to talk about this. I will continue to talk about Dragon Ball. I'm just waiting for something to spark my passion again because the manga hasn't done it. The manga's been pretty bad, at least in my opinion, for the last couple months now. And then also, while the movie's coming out, and I'm really excited about the movie, I mean, I've covered it a whole lot on this channel. There's only so much I can say before I start being repetitive, and I need to take a moment to actually breathe and think about what could possibly be different, or what more can I possibly say about Broly coming back, or Paragus, or what I would like to see in the future of this series, or something else like that. And you know what's weird to me about all of this, and one of the reasons I've been focusing primarily on the Real Talk channel, is because Dragon Ball is one of the biggest properties that has ever been created. I'm not talking about just like modern day properties. I'm talking about on the level of like Star Wars or Star Trek or any of these other things. It's been around for about 30 years now, and it is huge. It went out at the top of its game, at least in anime form, and just everything merchandise sells, everything. Dragon Ball was huge. They completely scrapped it. They didn't allow the anime to continue. They allowed the manga to continue, but that's been subpar for the vast majority of its run, primarily because we already know what's going to happen. And Toyotaro has just proven himself time and time again to be just completely wholly inadequate to actually tell that story and a storytelling perspective. And if you ask some of the major art fans about the manga and all this other stuff, like, they will tell you that his art is also not very good. I mean, I think it's actually pretty superb, and I'm actually enjoying every single chapter, but I mean, we already know the story. We know how it's going to play out, and it doesn't really shock one way or the other, despite however much he tries to make the story his own. So the manga's been kind of out there. The movie, while it's exciting, it's still Broly. It's still Paragus. It still seems like almost everything they give us is going to be things that we already know. Either a complete adaptation of the 8th movie in the franchise, or just simply retelling Dragon Ball Minus, which we got with the Jocko manga. So, I mean, there's only so much you can talk about, and only so many surprises that they can give us throughout this movie, no matter how much they want to hype it up. I like the idea that we might be getting the anime back in the next year or so. I really want that to be true, because even if they do readapt the Broly story from the movies, it's going to be really interesting. There's a lot that was cut from this movie, and I really hope they explore it in the anime if they decide to do that. But at this point right now, it's strange to me that they're just giving up on Dragon Ball. And I feel like I need to say this just in comparison. The Walking Dead, I don't know if you watch that show. I don't know if you really like that show. You've given up on it. You're still watching it or something, but there's going to be spoilers. I don't know if maybe if you've heard about it or watched it in the past, you understand where I'm going with this. But, The Walking Dead just recently, last night even, after I'm posting this video, they got rid of Andrew Lincoln. Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead has left. And like I said, major spoilers here, so click off this video or skip around if you don't want to be overly spoiled about what's going on in that show right now. You want to watch it for yourself. But Andrew Lincoln left. He didn't die. He got taken by the helicopter, and they announced almost immediately, just minutes afterwards, that they're going to be doing Walking Dead movies with Andrew Lincoln. That's going to premiere on AMC. My perception there is it's not going to be on AMC, or it's going to be on AMC later, and it's going to be on their streaming service, and it's going to be a reason to get people to stream, subscribe to their streaming service. And I think that's really, really deliberate and really cynical on their part, but I completely understand it. And if that's what they end up doing, then that's probably going to be one of the reasons I get their streaming service, but I digress. They decided that it was the best opportunity for them to not linger on this idea of whether or not he comes back, because a lot of shows have done this in the past with the idea that their lead actor leaves, then everyone else kind of takes a hold and tries to continue on the story, but the lead actor is going to come back for the last couple episodes or the last episode of the season just to kind of allow it to end properly, allow it to end with all the characters. And this is just cliche at this point, but they're allowing Andrew Lincoln to go in, be in his movies, allow the other characters to be completely in their own thing, continuing on the main show. And then they also announced today that they signed up the main cast, and they're negotiating with some of the main cast and other characters who have either departed or are going to depart sometime in the very near future for multiple year deals. Not just for the television show itself, but for the franchise as a whole. They're going to make sure, and they have made it very clear to the audience and to everyone paying attention, that the episodes, the show itself is going to return. It's going to stay strong, not just for the immediate future, but for the near future. For a year or 2 or 3 out, something like that. Shows a level of confidence and a brand that, for all intents and purposes and for all respect of the word, has been falling in popularity for the last 3 years and continues to do so, and doesn't seem any sign of okay, maybe the bleeding will stop sometime in the near future. But AMC believes in this series. They believe in the universe, and they're going to continue it. Everything else be damned. That to me is really awesome as a fan. It's something that I get completely behind, and I will support them every step of the way. In comparison, it's so weird that Dragon Ball goes out at the top of the world and then just basically disappears. And I know it hasn't disappeared. There's video games, there's, the movie coming out, there's the manga continuing. All of it is, Dragon Ball is still around and it's still profitable. Action figures are selling off the charts, all of this stuff. But the manga and the anime have always been the lifeblood of Dragon Ball. Now you have a manga going month to month, chapter to chapter. There's not a whole lot of progression, and everything else that they're saying in it is redundant. We haven't heard any real information about the continuing of the anime, or even, an idea of where we're going after the ending of this movie for months. And like I said, The Walking Dead is not in the same position that Dragon Ball was when it decided to leave, but they told us minutes. They wanted to reassure everyone who appreciated the series and wanting it to continue that it's coming back. You don't have anything to worry about. We're going to be serving you the entertainment that you've wanted, for the near future. At least for the next couple of years, you're going to be getting what you wanted. Dragon Ball, completely gone. You're getting a movie, a couple months later. And oh yeah, by the way, there's some speculation from everyone else that there's going to be an anime, but no real official word here. And it ended back in March. Now we're in November. We're literally almost 10 months away from the ending of Dragon Ball Super, with no real indication of what's going to happen for the future of the series. That's why I am a little bit mad about this series. I love this series. I talk about it on this channel with friends and everything else almost every single day. I can't wait to be able to experience the joy and speculation and everything else that came from weekly content with Dragon Ball in the near future. But if you wanted an explanation as to why I haven't been covering it, it's just that I don't know what else there is to say. I try my content, I try to make it as creative as possible. I try to talk to you guys about all this stuff that's possible or just fun to talk about that no one else is talking about or very few people in the community are talking about. But it's hard to do when very few people pay attention to that anymore, and at the same time, like, there's just not a whole lot to go off of. Yes, I could talk about the manga chapters. Yes, I could talk about the news for the Thanksgiving festival and Goku Balloon. I can talk about what's going on in the movie news and all these different updates that they're giving us. And I can play Dokkan. I can do all of this stuff. But if you guys know my channel at all, you know that I've never really done that. And it's not something I really want to start now, just to kind of put out content. So hope everyone is having a fantastic day. This is why I feel like Dragon Ball Super kind of needs a break, or at least I need a break, and I need to focus my time on other things that I'm much more passionate about, so I'm not putting out subpar content. And I hope you guys can understand that. Hopefully I can do 2 or 3 videos on Dragon Ball a week from the near future, just kind of staying around and having something to talk about that's at least a little bit enjoyable for everybody. But with that being said, hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell over by the subscriber button to notify you every single time I upload. And you know what, guys? You see the icon on the screen right now. If you really want to talk to me about Dragon Ball, if you really want me to have like a speculation, a theory, or anything else, so you have information about like you think I should cover, anything else like that, go to the description section below and hit that link to go subscribe to me or follow me on Twitter, because I am always on Twitter. I love to talk to people on Twitter because it's just so much easier and it's a direct line to everyone else. It's so hard to talk to people on YouTube and just try to get their attention on YouTube that Twitter is just so much easier. So hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Do that if you want. I'll be waiting, just for your response, your comments. Love everybody. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. It's been real.